Hey Molly, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me? See me okay?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Perfect. All right. Hi, guys. We are so excited to be here today. My name is Molly, and we have Rich here on the call. We are both on the corporate team here at Mostest, and very excited to walk you through a quick verbal demo of what Mostest is, what we do, and questions that we are asked every day from brides and clients.
Thanks, Molly. My name is Rich. Good to be with everybody today. Thanks for hosting, Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm ready whenever you are.
Awesome. I'm ready. Let's do it.
So Molly, you said that we talk to clients every day. We get a lot of questions about what Mostest does. I think just to give everybody some context here, we get a lot of questions about wedding planning, vendors, venues, design, ideas for weddings. I think most of all, we get asked about wedding coordination and planning. So today I was thinking and hoping that you could help us sort of think through that and walk through why coordination matters for if you're planning a wedding or an event, and how to think about your big day, and then literally how it works with Mostest. So
Yeah.
Can we start there?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And to give context, this is what I do every day with Mostest. When brides reach out, when clients reach out, I'm usually the first point of contact where I listen and kind of hear where they are in the process and do exactly this. Just kind of walk them through what we can do from planning to coordination. So I love it. Yeah, sounds great.
All right, so let's jump in there, Molly, with coordination. Why don't we tell everyone kind of like what Mostest does and what wedding coordination is? And I think it would also be helpful to maybe distinguish the difference between a venue provided coordinator, because they don't do all the things that a Mostest coordinator would do. So can you just kind of talk me through what that looks like?
Yeah, totally. So I will start by telling you a little bit about Mostest and how we work, what that looks like. So we are based in New York City, but we are in over 20 cities across the US, and all of the coordinators in each of our markets is local to that respective market. So they know the city, they know it well, they know venues, they know vendors. Every coordinator on our team is a seasoned professional. We require 2 years experience before joining our team, and they're interviewed and trained by us. So we have a really good idea of the work that our coordinators are putting out from event to event. As far as coordination, how that differs from planning is coordination is usually kind of in the ninth inning of that event planning process. Planning can really start anywhere. Our business model is fully customizable, fully a la carte. So for some of our clients, that is full service planning. Hey, I just got engaged. I don't know where to start. We do plenty of that. But for today, and talking about coordination, that is where we step in closer to the end of the process and saying, hey, this is everything I've booked. This is everything that I've done. Now I need someone to kind of come in, be that run of show person and that in-person on-site support for the actual event, whether that's a wedding, party, or corporate event.
Okay. And so one thing that we talk about a lot is the different levels of coordination. There is day of coordination, there's month of coordination, there's longer term planning, like 90-day coordination. What does that mean? What's the difference between all three of those? And, what do you get with each?
Yeah. So how I usually approach this in consultations, if I have a bride reach out, they say, hey, I know I need a coordinator. And they'll ask me that. Do I need a day of coordinator? Do I need a month of coordinator? I usually will ask questions back because I need to understand to make a good recommendation of where you are in the process. What do you have left? And so that is usually where that conversation starts of, say it's September, you're getting married in March. You don't know if you need day of or month of. I'm going to ask you, what do you have left? And out of everything that you have left, what do you want to take on and what do you want to outsource at this point? Because those last 6 months of wedding planning, that is the average time where someone's hiring a coordinator. Right. Where we can step in and say, okay, you still need to lock down your DJ and maybe some design elements. We can do that, or do you want to? For us specifically, day of coordination, you start your weekly prep meetings 3 weeks before the event. So this is a great option for our couples that really have everything locked down. They might have completed their timeline a year ago, and now they're just
Okay.
looking for that person to come and be the point person on the day of. Whereas month of, we start 2 months out. We start 60 days before. That's more of like a partial planning. Hey, I still need to wrap my head around a bunch of logistics.
Okay. And then 90-day just adds a little bit more time to that. Again, I think from what I'm hearing you say, it's more like less off of my plate and more on the Mostest planners. Is that how I kind of think about it?
Yeah, we've seen 90-day work a couple different ways. We've had that where we'll have like a very type A, I planned this super far in advance and I just want to have weekly meetings for 3 months for my own sanity. And we are here for that. Our coordinators will come in. You will meet for every week for those 3 months. And that really does make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks. You can finalize vendors, you can order stuff still, it'll get there on time. Or I like the comment, no accessories. Rich had a hat on earlier. Or 90-day, we've also seen it really be used as like a partial planning service where someone will book us for 90-day and they're like, I really don't have a lot done, but I know I want to get married in a few months. And that you can do it that way too, where our coordinators can step in and walk you through that whole process.
Okay. So that makes sense. That sounds good. I think it's a lot to process. I think important though that you said is where are you in your planning process? How far are you from your event date is kind of how to think about it on like what you need combined with how much do you want to do yourself and how much do you want Mostest to do for you? So is that an easy way to think about it?
100%, because we have a lot of couples that know that we still have a lot left, but maybe my aunt is a florist and my cousin's a photographer. They're planning on handling that on their own. And then we have another half of our clientele that's like, hey, I work 2 jobs. I'm going to be so busy. I don't have time to reach out and confirm pricing for a DJ. I need you to handle that. And so when I mentioned our business model being a la carte, you can pay as you go. You can book as you go based on what you need. If you know you need a coordinator, which most of our clients do, they're going to do that first. And then maybe a few weeks later, hey, I have to travel for work. Like I'm going to book vendor matching and can you source my florist and photographer for me this week? And yes.
Okay. All that makes sense. I do want to address the comments. I have many accessories. I just chose not to go with accessories today. So, if
he's
you
feeling professional.
Yeah. But I always have accessories at the ready. So let's dive deeper on something that you said there, because Mostest offers vendor match and venue match. You talked a little bit about that. Can I, as a client, come to Mostest just for vendor match or venue match? Or do I have to do coordination to do those other 2 things? And then can you spend some time telling me what vendor match and venue match actually means? What am I getting?
Yeah, totally. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to be a coordination client to book us for virtual services. Our virtual services can be booked all across the US, even if we don't have in-person support in the city that you're in. And the reason for that is our tech has been built to where we can source vendors, give you real, actual information about different venues and vendors that you might not be able to find on Zola or the Knot or anything like that. So keeping that in mind, what vendor matching typically looks like is we'll have a client reach out to us and say, hey, this is my event date. This is where I'm getting married. I can't find a photo booth or a florist. You're going to hop on a call with one of our coordinators, go over your budget, of course, and then any must-haves or must-not-haves for any respective vendor. And then our coordinator then goes and does all of that legwork for clients. So they're going to reach out, confirm availability, confirm pricing. And in my opinion, the real value add here is their experience level allows them to ask questions to these vendors or venues that the average client may not know to ask, or to read between the lines on contracts of what's included and what's not included. So it's super helpful. It saves our clients a bunch of time, and it's fully virtual, so you can do it from wherever.
So in other words, it's pretty curated. Like you've spent a lot of time narrowing down the focus to meet my needs of what I'm looking for, in other words.
Yes, 100%. We say like within Mostest, we have the duo of our tech, which powers a lot of this venue, vendor, design. And then we also have the human element of the actual coordinator, who's also very experienced. So the combination of those 2 things allows our clients to have a really good experience.
All right. I like that. So We talked about coordination. We talked about the big things, vendor and venue. I did mention at the beginning, there are some other elements of something else that Mostest offers. So I think it'd be good to just maybe highlight some of the things on what they mean. I see we offer a strategy session. We offer design workshops and vibe workshops. So like, what are all these other elements that we're offering to our clients?
Yeah. Well, to really go hand in hand too with the coordination question, one of the services you just mentioned is our strategy session. And this is a relatively new offering that we just launched a few weeks ago because there was a significant demand for it. So within Mostest, we have our free consultations. They're completely complimentary where you can book. You're going to hop on and just kind of go over where you're at in the process, and we'll be able to tell you a little bit about how Mostest can help. To take it a step further, these strategy sessions are an hour long. They're with one of our actual planners where you'll get on and talk about the specifics of your event and get very tailored recommendations based on where you are versus what we're doing on our end.
Okay. So that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where a lot of people can start now of, I know I need this, but I need to talk about this for longer. So they'll start there and then book from after that call of what they feel like they need.
Okay. And then what about some of the other elements, the design piece, the content creation? There's a bridal attendant I saw on there. So, I mean, it looks like there's another 6 or 7 options. Yeah. And you said earlier it's customizable. So yeah, I can add these things at any point. I don't need them. I do need them. Like, can you just dig a little bit deeper on each of those or some of those?
Yeah, totally. One of my favorites is the design blueprint, so I will start there. I know our coordinators love doing these projects, and our clients obviously love it. What that is our clients get on virtual call with one of our planners/designers, and they're going to go over the aesthetics of the day. That can be different from client to client. Some of our brides will choose to only talk about like tablescapes as an example, or they'll talk about maybe they want like a cute seating area for their cocktail hour, whatever it is that they're working on, that their pain point is, they're going to talk about that with our coordinator. The coordinator is then going to put together a very customized mood board for them. It's kind of like a Pinterest board, but much more specific. You get rounds of revisions with it. So you'll hop back on your coordinator. I like that. I don't like that. And then at the end, you get a tailored, detailed shopping list of actual tangible items to bring that vision to life instead of like scouring through Etsy or Amazon or wherever you're shopping. Your coordinator's doing that for you, making sure it fits your budget. But you also get 2 vendor recommendations as well. So if you talk about furniture, so it's kind of like a combination of design and vendor matching.
That's a nice add-on. That's a nice add-on there. So it's kind of bring my ideas to life and who can help me bring this to life kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And we've had some clients that are doing like, say they have like a totally blank space or blank canvas venue. Maybe it's a backyard or just like an old warehouse or something like that where there's literally nothing. That blueprint can be very helpful in putting together an actual like floor plan and vision. But we also have brides that are getting married at very traditional venues that do weddings, 6 a weekend. They're still using that to get into the details of like their actual vision. So whether that's like their printables, their signs on the bar and their place cards, you can use it for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all that sounds great, Molly. I think we covered a lot. We speak to a lot of people every single day and answer these questions. And I know we got together saying that we wanted to try to break it down in detail. I think you did a really good job just sort of breaking it down for me. So I appreciate that. Is there anything else that maybe we haven't covered or something that maybe distinguishes Mostest from anyone else or, anything else you want to share?
Well, one question that you asked me at the beginning that I didn't get to was when we talked about venue coordinators versus your own Mostest wedding coordinator. And so it's an important distinguishing factor to make. One thing that I will call out, especially for our couples in New York, a lot of venues require you to bring in your own coordinator, even if the venue has their own. And the only reason I mention that is there's also a handful of other venues that don't require that. And I think for those couples, it's very confusing if they're like, okay, well, I have a venue coordinator. Why would I need that? I think it's an interesting call out that a lot of venues still require you to bring in their own. And where Mostest can step in and help is we're going to work alongside any venue coordinator. If you have both, that is a dream team because your venue coordinator is most likely amazing. They're probably very detailed, but their main focus on that day, understandably, is the venue. Your guest safety, compliance of vendors, all of that is going to be their main focus, whereas your wedding coordinator is going to be, hey, Molly wanted to walk down the aisle at like this moment in the song, and she wanted the place cards to the left of the napkin, not to the right. Like all of those little things that add up when you're trying to put together a very curated vision. If you have both of those things, it makes for a very seamless day.
Yeah. I like the way you phrase that. Dream team. The venue knows the ins and outs of their location. That venue coordinator has done, likely hundreds of events there. And then your Mostest coordinator, your actual wedding coordinator knows you because they've been working with you. It's the combination of those two things that ends up delivering like an awesome experience, basically, right?
Yeah. And our coordination packages included in all of them, day of, month of, 90 day, is full vendor communication and management. So your Mostest coordinator is going to reach out to your venue coordinator as soon as your service starts, depending on which package you go with. And they're going to say, hey, I'm working with Molly as her day of coordinator, and they're going to have together a very cohesive plan, a very detailed timeline that come the day of. Hopefully, nobody is asking questions to the bride or the bride's family. But in between those two people, everything is covered.
Okay. All right, Molly. Well, our consultations typically are 15 to 20 minutes. We've been talking about that time. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat, but I'll just post it as a PSA. If there are any questions, put it in the chat as Molly and I begin to wrap up. Molly, were there any additional closing thoughts that you have? Any direction you have for the crew that joined us today?
Yeah, totally. So we talked a lot about coordination and what's included once that package starts. One thing that we did not talk about that I think sets Mostest apart from other just simple day of coordination duties is we have a full team, a planning concierge team that you can reach out to as soon as you book. So as soon as you're a client with us, you have an invitation to set up an account with us where you can ask questions, even if it's just general like guidance. Hey, I need to ask you a question, or hey, do you mind just like looking over this vendor contract for me really quickly? That support starts immediately because we don't want any of our clients, brides, to feel like they're having to wait until their service starts to get any level of support. So it starts immediately. And then within our dashboard, as you get closer, you're going to then receive coordinator options where you're going to see their photo, a little profile about them, a bio, and be able to choose between those coordinators of who you want to work with instead of being manually selected. So you have some control over that even before this starts.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so how do we want to direct people and guide them on where they go to find out more information or see if there are dates available? What's the next step for our crew that joined us today?
Totally. So I will put a link in the chat. If you want to chat about your event specifically, you can schedule one of our complimentary consultations. Let me grab that while we're chatting.
Are they going to talk to you, Molly, if they schedule one of these?
Most likely, which I love. I've talked to a few this morning, and everyone just has such like different creative approaches. I think doing like this, working in this industry in 2025 is so fun. And I imagine like 10 years ago is probably much more black and white, but there's so much creativity now behind these events that it's just fun. Yeah. So I'm going to put that here. Let's see. Did I go?
There it is. I see it. I see it on my side. Success.
Perfect. So yeah, schedule a consultation. If you have any questions, you can also email us, info@joinmostest.com, where we can just kind of gut check your date availability if we're in your city. But our website has a ton of information with pricing where you can go on, you can type in your date, type in your city, and you're going to see a full list of services that are available in your market with a little explanation of both. We also have a beautiful AI chatbot that will answer a lot of your questions for you.
Awesome.
So shout out to Garrett for that chatbot because she's amazing.
Well, thank you, Molly. Thank you to everybody for joining. I don't have any more questions, so I'll give the last word over to you.
Awesome. No, I think that's it from me. We appreciate you guys so much. We love this. This is what we do all day, every day, and we'd love to be a part. So thank you all for joining.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Molly.